Nisargadatta Maharaj says, the false self must be abandoned before the real self can be found. To which this questioner says that what you call as the false self is distressingly very real for me. I cannot get rid of this sense of personal identification, and therefore it creates all the content like envy, jealousy, malice, spite, anger, hatred, and so on. To which Maharaj says, and I will read his words. This is from the book I Am That. He says, don't jump to conclusions rashly. The concrete need not be real. The conceived need not be false. Perceptions based on sensations and shaped by memory imply a perceiver whose nature you never cared to examine. Give it your full attention. Examine it with loving care, and you will discover heights and depths of being which you did not dream of. Engrossed as you are in your puny image of yourself. Now, this paragraph reminds me so much of Jiddu Krishnamurti, where he says that examine, see everything with total attention. The thing is that, yes, we are very quick to jump to conclusions. We will always, come to this conclusion that, either there is a self or there is no self. But very few of us are actually willing to examine it. We just believe what others say. But you see, it is the mind which flows in these extremes. There is self, there is no self. Examine it for yourself. Go into the depth and see what is there. See totally. What eventually you will find is that layer by layer, whatever you see, whatever layers you see superimposed on your true nature, they are not solid. And slowly you will reach that place of being where you will find the most restfulness, where you will find tranquility, and where you will find that the entire existence is in perfect harmony. Everything is whole and complete. And that is none other than being or consciousness, which is your own nature. You see, when this thinking happens, it is the ego mind, the sense of personal identification, which jumps up to claim ownership of the feeling. It says that this is the thought happening to me. But we never examine the nature of this me. What is this me? What exactly is it? It's a collection of impressions, memory. It comes from memory. And it is a response as a thought. It's a conceptual thought. Me is a concept. It is just that the intensity of emotions bring out this subject, which seems real. It seems very real, but it is just the conceptual thought, which is actually not separate from that emotion or intensity that is being experienced. And, Maharaj also says that examine it lovingly. What that means is that It is not that I am doing this to achieve something, that there is an agenda behind it, that I'm going to get something out of it once I know my true nature. I do not do it with the expectation that I am going to be peaceful or that all my troubles are going to vanish, all my financial troubles, all my relationship troubles are going to disappear, my life is going to be set right. No, I do not do it with this intention, or that I will become a better person, because that implies that I am imperfect right now. I am incomplete right now. I am unworthy right now. That is not true. There is only perfection, completeness, wholeness. There is no individual that is imperfect, that is incomplete or unworthy. So when you drop all these concepts, all the past conditioning, and see everything totally, with total vision, not with the distorted vision, peripheral vision, where you limit yourself to your conditioning, to your filters, but examine it totally and completely, what you see is that these problems, this dilemma, this contradiction that you're facing in life is not so solid as it appears to be, because it does not have a root. There is no root. The fear that you perceive is an illusion, and it comes from the sense of personal identification, because identification with the limited breeds fear. It creates fear. So when you examine yourself, when, as we say, that when you go within, although there is no within or without, within or outwards, there is no such thing as inward or outward. It is just one movement. But we say, for to simplify the concept and to make it easier for the seeker to understand, we say go within. And when you go within, you confront all sort of fears, all the feelings, all that content that is buried in the deep, trenches of your mind. When all of that is seen for what it is, beyond that is the peace of being. That peace does not belong to a person. That peace does not belong to an individual. That peace is unconditional love. There is no confusion, there is no conflict over there. It is something very natural, very ordinary, and it is the base, substratum of all that appears. Whatever that is arising because of it. So even you, the thought you, arises out of it. Not only does it arise out of it, it is also it. So, as the masters say, all there is consciousness. So the questioner further asks that, he says that I should be in the right mood to examine myself carefully. And he says that I am quite selfish. So you see, again, he is filtering the vision. He's narrowing the vision when he's trying to do this examination. So Maharaj says, and I will read his response. He says, you are not selfish. You are all the time destroying yourself and your own by serving strange gods, inimical and false. By all means be selfish. the right way. Wish yourself well. Labor at what is good for you. Destroy all that stands between you and happiness. Be all, love all, be happy, make happy. No happiness is greater. So Maharaj says that make labor for what is good for you. Now, from what I understand, the definition of good and bad here, what is it exactly? What is good, what is bad? Anything which moves you closer to the source is good, and whatever moves you away from the source is bad. That is the conceptual definition I have for good and bad. There is no other definition. There is no behavior. There is no belief that is good or bad. Because the closer you move to your being, to the source of infinite love, the happier you will be. Because then you don't have to be happy, you become happiness, you become love. And this is the thing that mind cannot grasp, because mind is always filtering the content, it is always skewing its vision. So mind only wants to propagate and strengthen its own existence. It is not concerned with your liberation, because your liberation means its dissolution. Therefore, this is an act of self-care. To go within is the greatest act of self-care. And it is perfectly okay to be selfish in this regard. Because once you discover your true nature, the happiness that you exude, that happiness spreads to other people, even without you trying to do anything about it. Even when you don't say a word, when you are peaceful and calm inside, other people around you feel that vibrant energy. Even without saying a word. That is love. That is union. That is beauty. And this is what Maharaj is saying. There is one interesting thing which Maharaj says about sex also in I Am That. So he says, now I will read Maharaj's words. He says, love is a state of being. Sex is energy. Love is wise. Sex is blind. Once the true nature of love and sex is understood, there will be no conflict or confusion. Now, when Maharaj says sex is blind, it does not mean that you deny yourself the pleasure of sex, because that is a biological urge. But to chase it unconsciously, like in pornography, or to create unreasonable demands from your partner, or to think that life is meaningless without it, that is the only thing that can give you happiness, that is blindness. Otherwise, it is a very natural bodily urge, and it is perfectly okay. There is nothing right or wrong about this. But Maharaj says that love is the state of being. Love is where this all emerges from. Even the sexual urge, it comes from love. And the questioner says, there is so much sex without love. To which Maharaj says, without love, all is evil. Life itself without love is evil. You are love itself when you are not afraid. So examine this fear, where it arises from. And what you will notice that it arises from love, from that place of being. And fear is nothing but a pointer towards love. It is pointing you in that direction. So all your needs, desires, wishes that you want, fulfillment in life, they are all pointers to wholeness, to completeness, which is your true nature, which is love.